I feel like with all the hype and expectations that the 2023 draft class had going into the draft this past June, it's met expectations so far. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? I'm back here on the microphone, and we're going to talk about the 2023 draft class, about 30-ish games throughout their careers. I did put all these players into a tier list on the Sauce channel. I'll link that in the description below. Today, I'm going to be talking about either guys in the lottery or outside the lottery that have probably caught my eye this year in some type of way. If you guys do enjoy these style of videos, I would also appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. So we could talk about just the biggest guy in this draft class, both literally and figuratively, and that is Victor Wembanyama. So Wemby went number 1 overall. He had just the most insane expectations ever. And I'm going to say that Wemby has actually lived up to the hype somewhat so far in his just age 19 season. Now, the Spurs are an absolute train wreck. The big thing with them this year is that they don't have anybody to feed Wemby the ball. They are just kind of surrounding Wemby with a bunch of score-first guys, or guys that really aren't known for their playmaking ability. Guys like Devin Vassell, guys like Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan. They've experimented at point guard this year, and that has just been an absolute disaster. The Spurs are not good this year. There was a game against the Bulls the other night where Wemby looked pretty, reasonably frustrated with his lack of touches in this offense. I mean, Wemby's still averaging a double-double, around 18 points and 10 rebounds, even getting 3 assists a night in the Spurs offense. And ever since they kind of moved him to that center spot pretty much halfway through the season, he has looked phenomenal on the defensive side of the ball. So he's definitely, in my opinion, going to be a future defensive player of the year winner one day. Obviously, I'm sure he's going to be in the MVP conversation. He is still on great pace and just meeting expectations in his rookie season. I just think the big thing with him is, are the Spurs going to add a point guard at the deadline? Could it be a veteran point guard like a Tyus Jones? Will Trey Jones maybe take a step as that next playmaker for them? Because I feel like the Jeremy Sohan experiment just didn't work out. All right, next up, Brandon Miller, second overall pick. This was pretty debatable on draft night. Should they have taken Scoot Henderson to pair him up with LaMelo Ball? Should they have taken Brandon Miller? They obviously went with the latter, and Brandon Miller has been good for them so far. And I'm going to say that Miller pretty much was drafted in not a good situation. I mean, Michael Jordan was selling the team. They've had just kind of a revolving door of first-round draft picks that have worked out or haven't worked out. You could say guys like James Bouknight, Kai Jones haven't really worked out, but you know what? They've drafted guys like PJ Washington, Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball that have, and also most notably, or recently, Mark Williams as well. But Brandon Miller has been a good spot up, just overall shooter for the Charlotte Hornets this season. I think he's definitely exceeded expectations so far. He's pretty much everything that the Hornets wanted when they drafted him. Somebody with size that could size up other forwards in the half-court set and can definitely be a nice off-ball player to LaMelo Ball, who's going to be running that offense long-term. And he's probably a great guy to plug in the middle of LaMelo Ball at your point guard spot, Mark Williams at the center spot, and he's right there smack dabbed in the middle. And he's going to be a good floor spacer. He's going to be a good shot creator, and this dude is still super young. So this pick looks phenomenal for Charlotte so far, and he's been everything that they could have asked for. All right, the next player is the complete opposite of that. Scoot Henderson, who was my number 2 player in this class. I loved him as a prospect more than I did Brandon Miller. I just thought he was going to be so shifty with the ball in his hands. He was going to be somebody that could just slow down the game, and maybe Portland isn't the greatest destination, but I think I have to knock Scoot Henderson because I think Brandon Miller is just in as bad of a situation in Charlotte, especially now with LaMelo Ball out, that I think Scoot Henderson, you could say, he should be a little bit better this year. He has been disappointing. He's been inefficient. He's been turning the ball over a lot. He spent some time in the G League. He was dealing with injuries too going into the year. So there's been a lot going on with Scoot, and I hate just kind of the discourse around prospects when they just start their NBA careers. People are saying that Scoot Henderson is a bust. He shouldn't have gone top 10. I mean, dude, he's played 30 games in a terrible environment. Do not watch Jimmy Butler's or Kawhi Leonard's career arc, or even somebody as recent as De'Aaron Fox, and tell me this about Scoot Henderson. He's going to be fine. I still really like Scoot Henderson long term, and this year just might be a developmental year. It's just going to come with a lot of trial and error, a lot of inconsistencies, and that is normal, especially for a rookie guard. They are pretty normally inefficient in their rookie season. That just happens with rookie point guards, and Scoot is no exception to that right now. So I do think Scoot is going to turn it around. It's a long season. He had a nice stretch a couple games ago, but he has still been inconsistent up to this point this season. But I still like Scoot long term. He's going to be fine. I think we have to stop making these overreactions after 30 games into their NBA careers. All right, next up, I want to talk about Ausar Thompson. Not going to talk about him because he hasn't really played too much for the Rockets this year, and when he has, he's looked good. But for Ausar, I mean, we've talked about bad situations, like for Wemby in San Antonio, Brandon Miller in Charlotte, Scoot in Portland. This is definitely the worst situation he could have been put in, because I feel like if you swapped Ausar Thompson with a Brandin Podziemski, we would be talking about Ausar Thompson as arguably the second best rookie in this class, just because there would be more eyeballs on him. He'd be playing in more nationally televised games, and he would have obviously with more better players around him, because Detroit is historically bad. They have 2 wins at the time I'm recording this video, 2 wins, and it's not because of Asor Thompson. He is somebody that's flying around on both sides of the floor. He's a phenomenal on-ball defender already for somebody at his age. He's a great shot blocker. He's great in the passing lanes. He's great just getting his hand on the ball on the defensive side of the floor, and yeah, he's pretty good inside scoring as well. He's a good ball handler. The thing he does need to work on, though, is his jumper. It is not pretty. The three-point shot does not look good. I did talk about that in my project evaluation about him, and I think he's going to learn a jumper. It's going to take some time. It's just a shame that he's in one of the worst positions of all time for a team in his rookie season. Like, this Detroit Pistons team is on pace to be just as bad as the 2010 New Jersey Nets or the 2012 Charlotte Bobcats. Anthony Black really hasn't played too much this year for the Orlando Magic. He's played in a decent amount of games, not a lot of minutes, but you know what? He's contributing on one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, so I at least want to give him props for that. All right, Bilal Coulibaly. I did not think he was going to be this good right away, because this dude is extremely young. He was extremely raw as a prospect. I thought, all right, he might even be in the G League this whole season, and it wasn't going to help that if he was going to play on this active roster with non-playmaking guys and ball hogs like Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. This could be a mess of Coulibaly's rookie season. But man, he's been good. He's also been super efficient. He's shooting 51% from the field, 41% from 3, and is averaging 9 points and 4 rebounds a night for somebody that is coming overseas and is going to be 19 years old throughout the whole regular season. So it's an incredibly impressive rookie campaign for Bilal Coulibaly, and I want to give him props for that. And shout out to Washington. They traded up to get him, and he looks like a fantastic pick so far. All right, next up, we're going to drop a couple picks to Cason Wallace. Most of the guys that I'm skipping really haven't done too much this season, but Wallace has just been a dog on the defensive side of the ball, man. OKC, they ended up trading up to get him. They ended up getting or taking on Davis Bertans' contract to do so, but he has looked phenomenal for them in 27 games so far. It's been a decent sample size. Obviously, he's contributing on one of the better teams in the NBA and in the Western Conference this year, and he has been such a good defender, and he's also knocking down his three-pointers. He doesn't take many a night, but the dude is shooting 55% from the field and 47% from 3. That is so much more than you could have asked for. All right, Dereck Lively. This dude is a beast, man. I don't think the Dallas Mavericks knew he was going to be this good this soon into his NBA career. This man is the perfect rim rolling center to Luka Doncic, somebody he has never really played with at this caliber, and Dereck Lively is a goddamn rookie. This man can get double-doubles. This man can block shots. He can roll to the rim perfectly and catch alley-oops from Luka Doncic. He knows where to be on the floor, and some of the Mavericks' best lineups this year are when he's out there. This pick looks like a home run, and they got off Davis Bertans' contract to trade down to take Dereck Lively. I feel like Jordan Hawkins has been a perfect role player for the New Orleans Pelicans this year, somebody that had a winning environment in college playing with the national champion UConn Huskies last year, coming in and being that 3-and-D guy for them off the bench. I mean, he hasn't been the most efficient guy in the world, but I feel like he knows his spots when he's on the floor, and he definitely has a higher basketball IQ than some of these other rookies coming in that can play in this Pelicans offense with the starters, with the bench guys, and he knows where to be on the floor. He's not going to shoot you out of games, even though he's been inefficient from the field this year, but someone that's going to shoot 36% from 3 and is going to play above average defense is more than you want for somebody that you took with the last pick in the lottery. I'll talk about Keyonte George real quick, who has definitely been asked to do way more than he probably thought of when he was a first round pick coming out of Baylor. That was outside the lottery to the Jazz here, because they have no really direction at the point guard position. They've experimented with Colin Sexton, Taylor Horton-Tucker, and now Keyonte George, and he's looked as a way better playmaker than I thought he would be so far. And like Jordan Hawkins, he has been inefficient at times this year, but for somebody that's going to be possibly now a rookie point guard, I really didn't evaluate him as a lead 1. I thought he was going to be more of an off-ball 2. This is actually pretty good pace for him. A Jazz team that has also kind of been all over the place this year, so I think Keyonte George has really done well with what he's been asked to do, so this looks like a great pick for the Jazz outside the lottery, because I didn't mention Taylor Hendricks before, who hasn't really had too much playing time with Utah this year, so as long as they hit on this pick, it's not the end of the world if they didn't hit on the Hendricks pick. All right, next up, we have to talk about pretty much the third best rookie in this class, or maybe even the second best rookie this season. He's probably going to finish maybe third in rookie of the year, because you got Chet Holmgren in here, and that's Jaime Jaquez of the Miami Heat. Dude, this guy is insane. He just had a team high 31 points on Christmas Day in 39 minutes, man. This has been exactly what the Heat needed going into this season, because the Heat team were going to lose a bunch of depth guys. They were going to lose Max Strus. They were going to lose Gabe Vincent. And them hitting a home run on Jaime Jaquez, and when they took him, I was like, do you want to do that? Because I like Cam Whitmore for them, because he obviously has a higher ceiling than Jaquez did coming out of at least Cam Whitmore for Nova and Jaquez for UCLA. And you just knew that. When you were evaluating these guys, you like the athleticism that Whitmore can show. He has a higher ceiling, but you knew Jaquez had a higher floor, higher basketball IQ, and he was also a couple years older. So he's going to come in and make a more immediate impact right away. But dude, Jaquez has been so good for the Miami Heat this year. You could say he's probably been the 4th best player for them after Bam, Jimmy, and Hero. And this dude has played for them too. He hasn't been injured, and he's just been such a good shooter, such a good shot creator, just some guy that you can trust with the ball in his hands. And I mean, the dude is 22 years old. He's going to be 23 in a couple of months. So he's not like he's a 19-year-old rookie like a Wemby or Bilal Coulibaly, but this is definitely what the Miami Heat needed if they're trying to win a championship this year after losing in the finals last year. All right, I feel like we have to talk about Brandin Podziemski. Kevin O'Connor put this tweet out on Christmas saying that in a redraft, he could go as high as 3. I quoted that. I was like, 3rd? That doesn't make any sense. Because Podziemski has been great for Golden State. This has been such a good pick. I loved him when I was evaluating him out of Santa Clara because of the do-it-all player he can be. He could pass, he could shoot, he could score inside, he could run in transition, he could play defense. This dude just had 5 steals on Christmas Day, even though they did lose to the Nuggets. But yeah, Podziemski has been one of the better players on this Warriors team. Another guy that has definitely been exceeding expectations and definitely did not think he was going to be asked to do this much as a rookie. I mean, it's probably also because Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins have both taken a step back this year. Draymond Green has been suspended, so they needed somebody to step up, and Podziemski has been that guy, and this looks like a fantastic first overall pick for Mike Dunleavy in his GM tenure. All right, so Detroit has been horrible this year. We all know that. I'm not going to dunk on them anymore, but you know what? They at least have 2 nice first round picks. I talked about Asor Thompson before. I want to give some love to Marcus Sasser, who's been very efficient and is kind of limited role playing this year. He's played in 28 minutes, but I would like just to see him get more shots for this team. I want to see him shoot the ball more than James Wiseman or Marvin Bagley. And he's an older rookie as well. He's 23 years old. So, I mean, we're probably pretty close to his ceiling as a player, but I think he's done a fine job as a rookie. And lastly, I just want to give love to 3 second round picks that I think have done a phenomenal job this season. Andre Jackson for the Milwaukee Bucks. This dude has just been a dog defensively. This dude I just saw live against the Knicks on the 23rd, in which the Bucks beat the Knicks, and this dude is just running up and down the floor with such a high motor, and he held Jalen Brunson to 0 points in the 4th quarter. So he did a phenomenal job there, and I like this pick from Milwaukee. Next up, I'll give some love to Tumani Kamara. Just not a great situation in Portland like Scoot Henderson, but this dude has shown to also be a hustle player as well. Maybe never going to be an extreme offensive player, but they got him in that Drew Holiday 3-team trade that sent Damian Lillard to the Bucks, and he's been a nice plug for them off the bench. And lastly, somebody that's coming on a little bit as of late, and that's Trace Jackson Davis. I had a first round grade on him. So when he went 57th in this draft, I was like, okay, did I not evaluate him properly? I know he was a little bit older coming out of Indiana, but there's been plenty of older players in this draft, like Marcus Sasser and Jaime Jaquez, who we talked about. But he has been a beast for Golden State as of late. Somebody that's been great in the pick and roll, a good rebounder. And with Kevon Mooney also kind of taking a step back this year, and they've had to rely a lot on Dario Saric, TJD has been very solid for them. So yeah, that is going to be for me. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Obviously, there's a bunch of guys that I didn't talk about. So let me know if there's somebody that I didn't mention in the comments below, and what do you guys think about them in their rookie season. This is going to be a fun class to evaluate and do a redraft with. I'll probably do a redraft at the end of the season, but I think it's still way too early to do a redraft, just not even halfway through their rookie seasons. It's still way too early. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy these style videos, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.